and welcome to the 2019 FIA Certified Gran Turismo Championships. It is the top 16 superstars and the Manufacturers Series race coming up for you for the Asia region. My name is Tom Brooks. Alongside me for this one is Chaz Draycott. Chaz, it is great to have you back alongside me in the commentary box here today. It's going to be an exciting one, this.
Yeah, it certainly is. Really looking forward to this one. The manufacturer races, of course, with all the diversity of all the cars that we've got before us, always throws up an exciting prospect. And we've got another fantastic circuit to take these guys around as well. So, yeah, I'm really hyped up for this one.
Well, before we get into the circuit, let's take a closer look, shall we, at the regional manufacturer series for the Asia region then. You can see Yamaha Racing leads the way at the top of the order with 15,136 points. Kawakana there for Lexus in second place, 14,803 for him. Relatively close in terms of the point standings, but that doesn't tell the full story in the manufacturer series because it matters where you finish for the manufacturer that you're representing. So, for example, Yamaha Racing, he is the lead Toyota driver compared to Dual Wheel there in third place. So, out of the 5 regions that we have, we take 3 drivers from 3 regions, effectively. So, if Asia, for example, is in the top 3 regions, then it would be Yamaha Racing at this point in time who would go through for that manufacturer of Toyota. It's going to be interesting to see how this all changes about because there's a few battles going on up and down the order here, Chaz, as well. You've got Chevrolet there just on the fringes of the top 10. 2 drivers that are relatively close in terms of their point standings here as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the top 8, just separated by 1,001 points. And to be fair, it sounds like a lot at this point, but really, from how much you can get from these races, that could be flipped on its head so quickly. It's incredibly close all the way through, really. Even with Tatsuk at the bottom of the top 16 there on 12,946. It's just incredibly close between all of them, actually, when you look more into it.
Well, let's take a look at the closer standings for the overall manufacturer standings, the global ranking. You can see Lexus at the top of the order there, 940 points. Mercedes-Benz in second on 898. There's Toyota in third position. Now look at the different points for the various regions. 5 regions that we have, of course, and you can see that Asia, they are currently sat there on 200 points. So Asia at the moment would, of course, be representing Toyota in the next World Tour event as it stands. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare over the course of this one and whether they can make some changes, whether we'll see some good battles going on between the different drivers up and down the field there as well. You can see BMW, Porsche, Jaguar, Aston Martin, Ford, Alfa Romeo, Hyundai, Audi and Chevrolet completing the top 12 manufacturers. In terms of the circuit we're going to be racing on though, well, it is one that needs no introduction, but we'll give it one anyway. It is the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya in Spain. New to GT Sport in 2019, about an hour outside of Barcelona in a town called Montmeló. Made its debut on the F1 calendar in 1991. 4.6 kilometres it is, relatively fast and flowing, but tight on the infield section there as well. A couple of good overtaking opportunities here, Chaz, down to the first corner after the start-finish race, and out of turn 9, down to turn 10.
Yeah, plenty of good opportunities for slipstreaming here as well. There's quite quick corners coming out of them as well, so you've got to make sure that you're not in the dirty air of the car in front of you, and that you get a really good run out of those 2 corners. Of course, there are other opportunities for these drivers as well. We've seen people making a lot of very brave moves in other regions as well so far. So, yeah, it's one of my favourite circuits in the world is Circuit de Barcelona. It's absolutely wonderful to see. And, yeah, I think that these GT3 cars that we're going to see out there today are going to be very much fun to watch.
Well, we saw the 29.6 metre elevation change at the circuit as well, and that's going to be interesting as you climb up the hill through turn 9 and then come down through turn 10 into the final sector. That's where the penalty loop is as well. So if you have a penalty for one reason or another, exceeding track limits, taking a driver off the road, for example, that is where you will take your penalty, a time penalty it will be, and you'll drop back for an undetermined number of seconds depending on the severity of that incident. A closer look at the race details reveals, however, that we've got 9 laps at this Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya circuit for the drivers to compete in Group 3 machinery. They've had a 10-minute qualifying session to decide the grid. That's already good to go. Racing hard and medium compound of tyres here, Chaz, as well. Fuel consumption at times 5, so they'll have to put a bit of fuel in before the end of this race. And tyre wear at times 11 as well. Strategy is going to be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, these mediums, without that amplification, of course, would last forever. I mean, the racing hards, is no question. But that's what throws up a bit more spice into these races. As you can see there, the mediums only last 5 of the 9 laps of this race. The hards go to the end, but with 1.2 seconds a lap, as you can see there, being lost. I wouldn't see any of these guys on it. They want to be at the best pace they can be. And then they've got the option then to try and make the tyres last if they're in traffic, for example. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see who bottles first and goes in, or whether some people try and stretch them out to the end.
It'll be very interesting, as you say, there. And 4 seconds for the pit stop, 2 seconds for the tyre change, and then a few more seconds, of course, to put some fuel on board. So around about 10, 11, 12 seconds is what we're expecting the pit stop time to be over the course of this race. So let's see how the field fares then as they go down towards the first corner. Starting on pole position is Akagi 1942 in the Mazda Atenza Group 3 machine. Tatsukit in the Audi. Just behind then is Kawakana. Then we've got the Mercedes of NRO SW07. We'll just probably refer to him as NRO for this one, otherwise we'll be tripping all over ourselves. You can see their Subaru in 5th place with Karakuma. Now, he's been very quick in other races, including the Supra Cup, as we've seen so far. What is he going to be able to do behind the wheel, though, of that Scooby?
Well, Akagi, I tell you what, I've not seen that Mazda before, and it's a very, very good looking bit of kit in that livery. Very big, beefy car. It's going to be tough for Tatsukit to get the Audi go past him, though, and we'll have to see whether he can do it down towards turn 1.
Well, a rolling start for these drivers should hopefully alleviate some of the drama down towards that first corner, but you can never guarantee it because it's a very tight turns 1 and 2. Akagi leads the field over the timing line as we get the Manufacturer Series race here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya underway. Akagi immediately goes defensive. He tries to break the slipstream of Tatsukit. He's the only driver, of course, who is not benefiting from that tow as we come down towards the first corner. Looking here at NRO in the Mercedes as the plane flies overhead and we go down towards turn 1. Akagi on the defensive. Look at the Mercedes, look at Karakuma. He's got himself up into 4th position at the expense of NRO, who's down into 6th place at the first corner. So he's shuffling around, and Yamato Racing also in the Toyota making some good ground, but the top 2 drivers now are squabbling for position. Look at the Mercedes and the Audi in 2nd position, who are trying to find his way past there of Tatsukit, but no opportunity being presented. But Karakuma here has been given a 5-second penalty, presumably for contact at the first corner. We didn't see exactly what happened there, but either way, that is big drama here, and you can see Karakuma, he's going to be hit with that penalty down in towards turn number 9, and as they head down towards turn 10 on the opening lap, that's going to be crucial, and he's also slowing off of the racing line here for one reason or another.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, he was on the receiving end of the contact, because what happened was, by the look of it, NRO was a bit late on the brakes in the Mercedes. Either that or he got hit by the Honda of Shui. The 2 silver cars in the middle of the field got together, and then Karakuma was just pushed out wide on the outside. He got a bit of a nudge, and it'd be a shame to see if it was him that got the penalty for that contact. I'm not sure whether he made some afterwards, but we look at Yamato Racing now in the Toyota, just on the back of the Lexus of Kawakana. But as you say, Tom, Akagi and Tatsukit in the Mazda and the Audi breaking away a little bit at the start because of all that shenaniganery behind them.
Well, that's exactly what they want to be able to do as well, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they will try and stretch those tyres out or whether they will make a pit stop at the effective pit window. As we saw, around about 4 or 5 laps is what the duration you get out of these tyres, these racing mediums that everybody has started the race on. So let's see what will happen. Here we are then riding on board with Tatsukit, and Akagi, really good straight line speed from the Mazda out in front. Look at him pulling away on this straight. 0.8 of a second is the advantage that he has now as we head on to the start of lap 2.
Yeah, it looks like a real brute force car, doesn't it, that Mazda? It's a big machine compared to the little pokey Audi, but we know just how good that Audi is as a GT3 car. Really, really good, powerful bit of kit, great looking bit of kit as well, and that's not even mentioning how good it sounds. But Tatsuka smoothly navigating it round at the moment, but they just need to try and keep that gap back to Kawakana and Yamato Racing. But I just think that they may be able to get onto the back of them if they start battling a bit. It's very interesting with the midfield then, NRO and Shui very close together in the Mercedes and the Honda. That's the NSX Group 3 machine there as well. Very, very good looking bit of kit as well.
He's a little bit wide there for the Toyota of Yamato, just outside of turn 5. Doesn't compromise his drive too much on the run up in towards turn 6, turn 7, then through into, of course, into turns 8 and 9, up that hill and heading into Lakaisha. It is a very, very impressive part of that. There is NRO in the background. He's looking pretty good, actually. Considering he lost positions off of the start, he was really shuffled out a little bit wide. I'd love to actually get a replay of that first lap and see exactly if we can piece together the drama that caused that penalty for Karakuma, because he is right at the back of the field now. Dropped, of course, back out of turn 5, let the rest of the field go through, and then was hit with a 5-second penalty to boot as well. But he's already made up some good ground there down in 16th.
I just wasn't sure whether Yamato was going to go for a move on Kawakana there, but he seemed to drop off over the first sector. Back with him now, though, trying to get that podium spot away from him. They're in very similar liveries as well, which is always quite interesting to see in a battle like that, because, you know, it can sometimes confuse people like us, but it depends how attentive we're being. Tatsuka at the moment flying down this very long straight Catalunya. Really good slipstream opportunity here, and especially in GT3 cars as well, where it can punch quite a hole in the air.
Yeah, the Audi doesn't seem to have a good amount of straight line speed though compared to that Mazda, as we were saying at the moment. Meanwhile, the Toyota now behind the Lexus as Kawakana is in third position, as you can see. So through in towards turn 2, and then into that long right-hander of turn 3 we go. You've got to keep a nice tight line going on through there. And of course, this is where that dirty air is going to come into play in these Group 3 cars. It won't be helping Yamato Racing at this point, being so close to the car in front. And if anything, it will be not helping him at all in terms of the tyre wear that he's going to suffer as a result of being so close.
No, definitely not. And I think that might have been why it looked like he dropped off so much in the first sector last time. That really long right-hander, and then obviously turn 4 as well. Another long right-hander. It's sort of quite a mid-speed corner. It can be very, very tough to follow somebody around there on the brakes. A little bit of a slide there in the background from Mayumu in the Aston Martin. Here is your race leader then, the very striking liveried Mazda, a Akagi 1942. I think it's a fantastic looking car, that. Big fan of that. But he's doing a fine job of it. It just looks so smooth everywhere, doesn't it? It looks like it's just on some sort of scale electric circuit or something, like a slot car.
It's like he's on rails at the moment, isn't it? 1.1 seconds the advantage he now has over Tatsukit as they go through turn 10 then for the third time of asking. We're going to come into the pit window next time around. Is anybody going to opt to try and get the undercut through on this lap, I do wonder. Will they try and go into the pit lane, put a new set of medium tyres on, get some clear track and set some fast laps before everybody else in front of them comes in? Here is NRO. Now he's in this really unfortunate position here of attacking and defending at the same time. He's trying to keep that gap at a constant to Yamato Racing, who has a bit of a moment going through that chicane, but he's also having to be very conscious in his mirrors because Shoei in the NSX isn't too far away here either.
Yeah, if you're going to try and move, you've got to be very conscious of the fact that you've got to think about you run out of the corner, because if you do go for it, it doesn't quite pull off for you. You know, you're going to ruin your momentum as you get out of there. So you've got to think about the guy behind as well. But sometimes it's quite a nice situation to be in, because the person behind might not be as aggressive or trying to go for as many moves. So you may get a bit of leniency with them like that if they're playing a long game. But you can never know with these guys, really. You can never sort of take liberties with that, can you?
Just saw GSN down the start finish straight making a move on Arrow 71 SR for 9th position. The Ford Mustang now ahead of the BMW, so up inside the top 10 a little bit further for GSN. You can see this battle raining on between these two drivers. The M6 there in the hands of Arrow 71 SR as they come through the right-hander. Not looking too bad out there on track so far, but that Ford Mustang looking a lot more comfortable, it's got to be said. And of course, tyre life is going to be very interesting. We heard at the World Tour last time, Nicolas Rubelar, who competes for BMW in the Manufacturer Series in the European region, was really struggling with tyre life over the course of that race. So maybe it's a bit harsher on its tyres, and maybe now, as they're coming to that effective end of the window, it's going to be hampering Arrow 71 SR just a tidbit more than perhaps GSN in the Ford.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to think about how the different cars may be more aggressive on tyres than others, but Shoei there trying to get a move on NRO. He's just trying to poke him a little bit, saying, come on son, we need to get a move on now, try and get past these boys. But maybe NRO's quite comfortable to just sit there for now and just wait until the pit window, see what he can make of it. He might stay out, he might go in early, but like you said, Tom, we're coming into the pit window this time round, so it'll be interesting to see who goes in and who doesn't. This will be the pivotal moment, and Tatsuka does.
Akagi does not, though, the race leader. Kawakana following him in, also Yamato Racing and Shoei there as well, so they're all into the pits aside from the race leader. Now, is Akagi going to try a similar strategy to what we saw in the Oceania region race? Lots of drivers all coming into the pit lane, as you can see now here as well. As we said, about 10-11 seconds is what it takes for a pit stop, taking fuel into account, all of them going on to the medium compound of tyres, so it's going to be a medium strategy for these drivers. And where are they all going to emerge on track? Now Arrow 71 is into third place, of course, as you can see, having inherited those positions with everybody else, but in front of them pitting. GSN just up the road there in second, but of course they haven't made their stops. Now, are they going to try and follow the same tactics as Akagi and not pit in this race and try and hold on to the very end of that one? Gilles Honda also in the background there in fourth place in the Alfa Romeo, having not made a pit stop as well.
Yeah, I think if you're comfortable on the tyres wearing away, some drivers are really good at adapting to it. So if you're with a car that's not quite behaving how it would have at the beginning of a race, like I say, some people get used to that very quickly and they can adapt their driving style to be a bit more careful. Maybe Akagi's doing that. Maybe he's just going to stretch it one more lap than the others just to maybe get a bit of clear air and just stay away from it, because sometimes you are focusing on the person that's chasing you. So without that really close, I mean, he's got a 7.6 second gap now to GSN, who we can see in front of us here. as the Subaru follows the Jaguar around there. That's Karakuma. He's on new tyres. The car in front of him is not. Oh no, he's not on new tyres.
No,
sorry, he was at the back, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it looks actually like Karakuma's making some good progress here, and those used tyres are very effective. He's very closing up on the brakes there, but just behind the Jaguar of Mackay, trying to go through the left-hander we are, and then the right, and he's going to have a lunge. He's going to have a little look up the inside. He forces the Jaguar to go wide as those two make a little bit of contact, and that allows the Lexus of Kawakana to come sliding on through as well. So 2 positions lost in the space of 1 corner, and now of course Kawakana with that fresher rubber underneath him is going to be a real threat here for Karakuma.
Yeah, Kawakana was really sort of beneficiary of that, then getting a freebie is Arrow 71 SR GSN are in the pits, so's Marque as well, but Akagi's still not pitting.
No, Akagi is opting to continue on in this race, but he's got a 9.4 second advantage, so that's enough what he needs. Here's Tatsuka down the inside on the fresher rubber into second position, so that's where he was before the pit stop, and that is where he sits now with 3 laps remaining here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Gets that move nicely done, is now out into second place, and now he can attempt at least to try and close that gap down to Akagi. The fresher rubber, of course, is going to be very beneficial in these closing stages, but that gap is so big as here we see Kawakana trying to send it down the inside of Karakuma's tyres are absolutely shot, and the Toyota comes sliding on through there as well. So 2 positions now lost in the space of 1 corner for Karakuma. The Lexus and the Toyota of Kawakana and Yamado go sliding on through at turn 4.
Yeah, they're just really working well together at the moment, to be honest, to Kawakana and Yamado. They've just sort of stayed line astern for the whole race, and every time someone makes a move, they just both go through at once. So great coordination by the two of them. Not quite sure whether they'd be chatting away with each other and just helping each other in this situation, but it's certainly working for them, making their way back through very easily. Gilles Honda there in the Alfa Romeo in 3rd place, just at the bottom of your shot there, the very big green machine with the massive wing. He's on old tyres, and Tatsuka's made a very easy move down past him before that we saw. Kawakana surely is going to try and do the same with 3 laps to go. You can just see the struggle that Gilles Honda's having ahead of them now.
Yeah, really is struggling for grip in that Alfa Romeo 4C. Not doing too bad down there in 3rd place. Be interesting to see how long he can hold off the charge of Kawakana and Yamado on that quicker rubber. In terms of the lap time, Gilles Honda was a 1:45.854 last time around. The guys in front of him were 1.7 seconds faster as well. So easily going to be able to find their way through if they can get close enough.
Yeah, definitely, and with the slipstream down this straight as well, that's not going to it's not going to help Gilles Honda at all. Akagi's still not pitting though. I think he's going to take this to the end. He's going to be comfortable on the tyres. There's a move in the background there that looked like it was Shoei trying to get past Karakuma. He has done it as well by the look of it on the timing tower on the left. Just have to see. Yeah, you can just see in the background there.
Past. Yeah, and Karakuma there, clearly the old rubber not helping him at all here, and bear in mind of course that Akagi, the reason it's working for him is because he's got that buffer. That gap is shrinking corner after corner, lap after lap, but because he had that advantage, having not pitted, he's just able to keep that enough of constant. This man here though, Gilles Honda, is really on the back foot. Look at the understeer, look at the oversteer as well, as we were on board with Kawakana. Doesn't need to worry too much about it. Lace on the brakes, a lock up there for Gilles Honda. Into the back of him goes Kawakana, ever so slightly as they run nose to tail for position. Somebody in the penalties there, there's been given a penalty there just in the background. Didn't quite catch who that was at that time, but somebody's been given a penalty for one reason or another, presumably exceeding track limits, and that just shows how quickly things can come undone. Are they going to serve that penalty as they come on to this back straight then?
Yeah, that is. I'm just trying to see. It's Karakuma.
It is, yeah. Subaru. Karakuma, so that's the second penalty he's had in this race as well. Bear in mind he had one at the start, of course, on the opening lap. And look at Kawakana, though, and Yamada really closing up. And keep an eye out as well, just in the background. We haven't mentioned him too much, but Shoei there in the Honda NSX is not too far behind and ready to take profit, as well as the Mercedes of NRO here.
Yeah, and of course, Shoei, the important thing, he's leapfrogged NRO and the Mercedes during the pit stops as well. Managed to get through because he was trying to get past him earlier. Oh, very, very deep over the curb there, and this is where Gilles Honda V12 is going to get eaten alive now by the very, very big Lexus that's going to go through first of all, although he's not going to have a massive slingshot. Karakuma in the pits now. He's sick of the old rubber. He's like, right, I need to get this off and just get some fresh rubber on, see if I can set some fast times. But it's a bit too little too late, I think, as through goes Yamado as well on Gilles Honda. like I said before, the two of them just working together, they both make places at the same time. Great to see.
It's good strategy there. You can see Gilles Honda, of course, now on the defensive against Shoei as they come through the right-hander of turn number 3. Side by side they go. He's going to try and get the switch back. He's going to try and have a lunge down towards turn 4 is Shoei. He's going to send it down the inside in the Honda NSX on the Alfa Romeo. Gilles Honda tries to hold the outside line and keep an eye out as well for NRO, trying to sneak on through on the inside. There he is in the Mercedes. They're running side by side. NRO's got the outside line, but he's later on the brakes. He's just got so much more grip and confidence underneath him that he's able to find his way through as they make it to the corner.
That was a brilliant move, nicely done, very well executed. Good stuff from Gilles Honda as well to give him the space to do that. It was really, really sort of gentlemanly racing between the two. He's now going to come under pressure from Ayumu in the very big blue Aston Martin behind, as we see the wonderful livery on Shoei's car there. He's got a good run actually on the back of Yamato here down to turn 10, Tom. I reckon he could get this done, you know.
I think you're right. He's in the slipstream here. He's going to have a lunge down into that corner. No, he's not. Maybe he's trying to get a bit of a dummy. He forces Yamato to go a bit late there on the brakes, but somehow Yamato does gather it up with a bit of a late apex through turn 10 onto the final lap. We're going to come in a few moments' time, and that is where we will see those lunges taking place on that final lap. Surely down into turn 10 is where it's all going to kick off for the final spot on the podium. At the moment, it's SG Kawakana who is holding on to it by the skin of his teeth because he's got Yamato Racing previous down his neck. Yamato has got Shoei and NRO very close for company behind. If Kawakana can get a good exit out of this final corner, it might just give him enough breathing room down towards that first turn and just allow him to hold on to that position for a few corners more.
Yeah, it's really going to help Yamato here, though. He's going to have to defend for his life on this final lap. Akagi, though, he has not pitted, so he's going to stretch those tyres to the very end. Only got 4 seconds. That was deep as you like that from Shoei on the brakes. I thought he was going to go into the back of him there, and of course NRO wants him to do that because he's thinking, go on boys, have an accident, give me a few freebies. But the gap for the lead is only 3.7 seconds now, Tom. It really has come down, but this battle is just too good not to watch.
Look at Yamato defending, look at Shoei trying to attack. He has a bit of a look down into turn 4, but he's not quite close enough to make anything stick, but he gets good drive in the second phase of the corner. He's got a good exit out, but Yamato Racing blocks him. He covers the line, and Yamato has to go defensive into turn 5. That's going to compromise his exit out of here, and is that going to allow a run for Shoei out of the corner as they come up through turn 6 and then into turn 7? They're going to nearly be running side by side, but not quite close enough for Shoei. He needs to get a good run through turn 7, through turn 8, launch it out of turn 9, and then attack and try and get that move done through turn 10.
He just tried to back out a little bit, you know, to get the slingshot, but look at Kawakana go. He's run away from it now. Yamato gets a good run out of there as well, so the slipstream's not going to come back to him. It looks like he's going to have to go late on the brakes.
He's trying to, but he's not close enough to make anything stick there for Shoei. He had a bit of a go. He's going to try and get it back on corner exit, but Yamato Racing again slows him down, again stops that line. NRO is trying to attack as well in the Mercedes as they run through the right hand. A little bit of contact there with Shoei into the back of the Toyota. Coming down in towards the final chicane we go. This is a battle for 4th position in this race as Akagi is ready to come over the line to take victory. Yamato is defending. Shoei is trying to attack. He's not able to find his way through. Akagi takes victory. Tatsukin in second. Third place is going to go the way of Kawakana in the Lexus. And Yamato Racing, a brilliant defensive drive. And he does hold on the final lap to finish in 4th place. Shoei in 5th. NRO in 6th. Ayumu finishes 7th. Legacy over the line in 8th. GSN in 9th. And Gilles Honda, of course, with very, very old tyres on his Alfa Romeo, finishes just inside the top 10.
That was a brilliant, brilliant display of defensive driving there by Yamato Racing. Very exciting stuff. Very, very close for the fastest laps as well, as you can see there between Akagi, Tatsuka, Kawakana and Yamato. So it just shows the incredible pace that these guys have all got. The top 6 actually all ending up in a 1 minute 44s. But as you can see there, Kerakuma at the bottom, he was in the 144s as well actually there as well. So it showed he had the pace to compete, but just that penalty ruined it from the very get-go, didn't it? And it went a bit downhill from there.
Yeah, really put pay to his race on the opening lap, as you're saying there, Chaz. Let's take a look, shall we, at the regional standings after that race and see exactly what it means for the points then in the Manufacturer Series for the Asia region. Well, it sees a change at the top of the order. Kawakana taking that podium position now inherits the lead in the point standings over Yamato Racing. Akagi and Dual Wield also making good ground there, Chaz. Ayumu, Arrow 71SR, and also, of course, Kerakuma, who was down at the bottom of the pile, moved down positions.
Yeah, indeed. And to be fair, I think this is the first time, just highlighting how close it was going into this race, everyone's changed position in the top 16. Not one single driver has stayed where they were. That just shows you, I mean, even though they've got over 14,000 points, it's just incredibly close between all of them. So hopefully it just continues that way because, you know, it means that everything is so unpredictable.
It's going to be an interesting battle, isn't it, between the two Toyota drivers for the Asia region there as well, because of course we've got the final round coming up of the Manufacturer Series coming up for you in the World Tour very, very shortly as well. So keep an eye out and see what is going to happen there for these drivers. In terms of the global rankings, though, after 20 rounds of the Manufacturer Series, you can see no change at the top for Lexus and Mercedes-Benz, but BMW, Toyota exchange positions. Porsche and Jaguar also changing places, with Porsche inheriting 5th now. Ford moving down into 8th place. Hyundai, though, inherit 9th ahead of Alfa Romeo there.
Yeah, another good couple of changes there as well, and it just re-highlights it that this is so close. The margins we're dealing with are absolutely tiny. So the fact that these guys, one position can change it all. I mean, look at Kawakana and Yamato. Those two, even though they seem to be working together in that race, and they finished 3rd and 4th, they were top of the standings, and it's flicked them around the other way. And it's just the same with the manufacturers. It's fantastic to see.
Well, Yamato, of course, will be competing for Toyota at the Manufacturer Series event at the next World Tour event, which is taking place in September very, very shortly indeed. This coming weekend, Friday and Saturday, the 13th and 14th of September, we'll have Manufacturer Series and Nations Cup action to come for you at the Red Bull Hangar 7 in Salzburg, Austria. We really hope you can join us there. From myself, though, Tom Brooks, and from Chaz Dracos alongside me, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you at the Red Bull Hangar 7.